Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our morning Bhagavatam class. This morning the class will be by Srila Prabhupada. Very fortunate to hear from Srila Prabhupada this morning, and we will be hearing from one of his old lectures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Verse 20. So, and it's an audio, so we request devotees to please do pick up your volume, and there's also a transcription that will be shown on your screen with the audio. So without any delay, we will go straight into his class. Hare Krishna.
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीर बनचारी जमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन जमुना तीर बनचारी जमुना तीर बनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय उस्मात् परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य सुतर सदस्यमान भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। रामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। स्वामी भक्तबिंद की जय। All glories to the Asma. All glories to the Asma. All glories to the Asma. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Text number 20. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Evam prasanna manaso
Bhagavad
Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam
Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Evam prasanna manaso
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam
Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam
Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Evam prasanna manaso
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam
Mukta
Sangasya Jayate
Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat ladies.
Evam
Evam prasanna manaso
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam
Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam
Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Mukta Sangasya Jayate
Evam Prasanna Manaso
Evam prasanna manaso
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha
Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. That's all. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate. That's all. Now read the word meaning.
Evam,
Evam,
thus,
thus,
prasanna, enlivened, manasaha, of the mind, Bhagavad Bhakti, devotional service of the Lord, Yogataha, by contact of, Bhagavat, regarding the personality of Godhead, Tattva, knowledge, Vijnanam, scientific, Mukta, liberated, Sangasya, of the association, Jayate, becomes effective. Translation. Thus established in the mode of goodness, the man rejuvenated by loving service to the Lord gains liberation from material association, mukti, and comes to know scientifically of the personality of Godhead.
So, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam. Vijnan means science. It is not concoction, speculation. It is a science. Just like mathematics is a science. 2 plus 2 equal to 4. You cannot make 2 plus 2 equal to 5 according to your whims. No. Anywhere you go, it doesn't matter. Because it is science, so either in America or in India or in England, everyone will accept 2 plus 2 equal to 4. That is science. Science is true everywhere. Not that I can imagine my God according to my whims. You can imagine your God. That is going on. No, how you can imagine? There is no question of imagining. This Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, this truth, this science can be understood by a person who is Mukta Sangha. Mukta Sangha. Means free from material association. He can understand. Mukta Sangha Sajayat. And the condition is Evam prasanna manaso. When you are enlightened, engladdened, because so long we are in the jurisdiction of ignorance and passion, there cannot be any jubilant. There cannot be any enlightenment. Therefore you have to come to the platform of goodness. As it is stated in the previous, tada rajastamo bhava kamalobhadayascha je cheta etairana vidyam. Cheta, everything is working within the heart. The whole thing, heart is the central point of this body. So, when the heart is not punctured by the Rajagun and Tamagun, and you become situated on the modes of goodness, then you become jubilant. Jubilant means he can understand at that time that why these people are working so hard, like cats and dogs. The human life is meant for understanding what is God. Athata Brahma Jigyasa. This life is meant for simply understanding what is God. The animal life, they cannot understand. That life is different. But the human life is developed, consciousness is developed, he can understand. This is called goodness. Tasyaiva heta prajateta kogida. How one becomes intelligent? He can study. When he is on the platform of goodness, he can study the nature. So why I shall work so hard for getting my material necessities? This is being supplied by nature. The birds and beasts, they are getting their food, they are getting their mates, they are being protected in their own way. They have got a sleeping nest apartment. So even an animal, even a small ant, we sit down in the garden, we see, even the small ant, it has got family, it has got home, it has got eating, everything is there. From ant to the elephant. Who is supplying? They have no business. They do not do any business. They have no profession. But they are getting their necessities of life. Therefore, intelligent person, this is, goodness means intelligence, prakash. Ignorance means darkness. In darkness we cannot see what is what. So, goodness means light. Anyone can see that there are 8,400,000 species of life or forms of life. They are getting their food, they are getting their shelter, they are satisfying their sex, they are also defending without any extra endeavor. By nature they are doing their own way. So why human being, so-called civilized human being, is so much harassed for these four things? We have got better intelligence, we shall be rather more comfortable without struggling for existence than the animals. But our struggle for existence is greater than their struggle of existence. What is this civilization? This is not civilization. Everyone wants peaceful, calm life. Even those who are struggling so hard, big business magnate, still at the weekend they find out some secluded place, nice place without trouble. That is the nature. That human nature should be like that. Then why should we work so hard simply for eating, sleeping, mating? This is a wrong type of civilization. But at the modern age, the human society is so made that one has to work like ass whole day and night simply for satisfying these four necessities of life. That is also not guaranteed. We thought that in your country, when I was in India, I was contemplating coming to a country, I thought America is very rich. There is no problem for eating, sleeping, mating. Actually, there is need. There is no problem. But the civilization is so made that there is no shelter, they are lying down on the park, on the street. Why? There is no necessity, but they have created such civilization that a certain section of people are voluntarily being obliged, lying down on the street, on the park, no dress, no food, no fixed up sex life, everything is topsy-turvy. Everything is topsy-turvy. But this is not civilization. This is not civilization. How they can understand God? Their mind is always disturbed and full of anxiety. So first of all, you have to come to the state of tranquility. Prasanna manasu. Evam prasanna manasu. Prasanna manasu means always jubilant. That can be achieved by this process. Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata. By devotional service. No, by no other process. Evam prasanna manasu Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. One can be jubilant only by practicing Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. There are many other yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, everything you endeavor for spiritual enlightenment, that is called yoga. So there are different types of yoga. But real yoga is Bhagavad Bhakti, devotional. Therefore in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, Yoginam api sarvesam. Of all the yogis, there are different types of yoga system and different types of yogis also. But Krishna says, of all the yogis, Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyaman bhajati jumang sami yukta tamo matah. That yogi who is devotee and always thinking of me or thinking of Krishna within the heart. Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyaman, faithful, bhajate. This is bhajan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Ram, Hare. So, he is first class. Who is chanting Hare Krishna mantra and thinking of Krishna within his heart, first class. That is Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. And if he does it nicely, according to the rules and regulation, in the beginning, then he becomes prasanna manasa, enlightened. There is no more any lamentation or hankering. This is the sign. Evam prasanna manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata. Then you can understand what is God. God is not so cheap. Come on, I shall show you God. You haven't got to follow any rules and regulations. People want to be cheated, therefore there are so many cheaters. They take advantage of it because they want everything very cheap. That is not possible. This is the stage. Prasanna manasa. Then you can understand what is God. Bhagavad Tattva, because it is a science. If somebody says, come on, I shall teach you the science of chemistry within a second, give me some money. Is it possible? If somebody says, I shall teach you mathematics, come on, give me some money. So why these rascals are misled? It is a science. It is not sentiment. It is science. There was understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead without reference to these scientific books, Vedic literature, it is simply disturbance, simply rascaldom. Creating disturbance only, cheating some people. They are cheated, they do not get anything, create some disturbance. That is the instruction of Rupa Goswami. Shruti Sriti Puranadi Pancharatriki Vidhi Vina Oikantiki Harer Bhakti Utpata eva kalpate. Utpat. Utpat means disturbance. So many rascals, without reference to the Vedic literature, revealed scriptures. Shruti, Sriti, these are Vedic literatures. Shruti, Sriti, Puran, Pancharatriki Vidhi. Without reference to all these books, if anyone possesses himself that he has understood God and devotional service, it is simply disturbance, creating disturbance. That's all. Shruti, Sriti, Puranadi, because it is a science. How you can manufacture it? It is not that thing. Therefore, any religion without scientific understanding, through philosophy, it is simply sentiment. It is not religion. And philosophy without religious understanding is mental speculation. That is also useless. Philosophy which does not search ultimately what is true, what is God, that philosophy is mental speculation. And the knowledge of God without philosophy is simply sentiment. This should be combined. To understand God, our relationship with God, our duty, everything should be understood scientifically. Bhagavatam Vijnanam, therefore this word has been used, Vijnanam. Vishesha Jnanam. Jnanam, ordinary knowledge, and V, when this word is added, V means Visheshata, particularly, for practical application. This Vijnana. So this Vijnana, this science can be understood by Mukta Sangha, who is freed from the lower modes of material nature, especially Tamagun and Rajagun. So, do not be fooled by so many rascals that Bhagavad Tattva Vijnana, the science of God, understanding is so cheap that anyone can give you by simply one day's association with some rascal. You see? This is not so possible. Yes, it has to be studied, it has to be practiced, it has to be realized. So this Vijnanam is being stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. Therefore, in the beginning, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Dharma projita koitavata. All rascaldom going on under the name of religion, cheating religion, they are completely kicked out from Srimad Bhagavatam. Simply on scientific understanding, we are presenting what is Krishna consciousness, not for sentimentalists. What is the purpose?
In the Bhagavad Gita 7:3, it is said that out of many thousands of ordinary men, one fortunate man endeavors for perfection of life. Mostly they are conducted by the modes of passion and ignorance, and thus they are engaged always in lust, desire, hankerings, ignorance, and sleep. Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man...
Man-like animals. They sow with 2 hands, 2 legs, but actually they are animals. 4-legged. 2 legs have been transformed into 2 hands. Go on.
Out of many such man-like animals, there is actually a man who knows the responsibility of human life, and thus tries to make life perfect by following the prescribed duties. And out of such many thousands of persons who have thus attained success in human life, one may know scientifically about the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Yeah. So it is not so easy to understand Sri Krishna. Manusyanam sahasreshu kastit jatati siddhaya jatatamaphi siddhyanam. Those who have endeavored for perfection of life, out of many such persons, one can hardly understand Krishna. It is not so easy. But it is by Krishna's grace, Krishna being very compassionate with these fallen souls of this age, he appeared as Lord Chaitanya and distributed Krishna. That is his prerogative, that is his right. If Krishna wants to distribute himself freely, that is a different thing. Otherwise, it is not so easy to understand Krishna. Just like to earn $1 million is not so easy. But if you are fortunate, you meet somebody who can distribute $1 million at a time, and that is a different thing. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was recognized by Rupa Goswami, Namo Mahavadannaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. My dear Lord, you are the most magnificent of all incarnations. The other incarnation, people could not understand. But you are freely distributing yourself. Krishna Chaitanya Namani, Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani, Gaurattise Namaha. Therefore, we have to follow the footsteps of Rupa Goswami, Rupanuga. Then we can understand Lord Chaitanya. And if we get favor of Lord Chaitanya, we can very easily understand Krishna. This is the process. Go on.
In the same Bhagavad Gita 1855, it is also said that scientific knowledge of Sri Krishna is understood only by the process of devotional service or bhakti yoga.
Here also it is confirmed. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. It is not said by mystic yoga, by hatha yoga, by jnana yoga, by karma yoga. No. Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. If you want to understand the science of God, then we have to adopt this devotional service, not by yoga. Otherwise, in Bhagavad it would have been said by karma yogata, by jnana yogata, by hatha yogata, by dhyana yogata. No, it is clearly said Bhagavad Bhakti Yogata, Bhagavad Tattva Vijnanam, Mukta Sangasya Jaya. If you are still after jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, you cannot understand God. It is clearly said. And the Bhagavad Gita also it is clearly said, Bhaktya mam abhijanati. Simply through devotional service. So if you want to know God, then you have to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of Bhagavad Bhakti Yoga. It is very simple. It is made very easy, especially in this age. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna mantra is so made easy. But we are so unfortunate that we do not take advantage of this. Itadisi tapa kripa bhagavan mamapi duddaiva idrisamiha janinanuraga. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laments, my dear Lord, you are so compassionate and merciful upon us that in this age you have descended in as your name, and one can chant this name without any regulation. Without any regulation. Niyamita smaranena kala. Any time, any circumstances, one can chant this Hare Krishna mantra. Krishna has become so liberal. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Itadisi tavu kripa bhagavan mamapi, my dear Lord, although you are so much merciful upon me, still I am so unfortunate. Itadisi tavu kripa bhagavan mamapi duddaiva idrisha. I am so unfortunate. Duddaiva idrisha miha janina. I could not be attached to chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. I am so unfortunate. You see, the things have been made so easy, actually. But unfortunate class of men, they cannot take to it. Thank you.
Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine
So the class has ended. They're just wrapping up with kirtan, and we just wanted to leave some time for us to share our thoughts, any discussion on this wonderful topic. As usual, it's always very nice to hear from Sri Prabhupada and hear his lectures. Is like right on. So would like to ask devotees if you have any questions, any comments, any clarification, any realizations, takeaway thoughts, please do jump right in and do share your takeaways of what really resonated with you. Would love to hear from everyone. Any thoughts, any takeaways? At least one. We should have at least one from this wonderful, amazing thought. Yes, Mother Gita.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisance.
Mind, Mother.
Our grace to Srila Prabhupada.
Right.
Srila Prabhupada's lectures are always very enlightening, very inspiring, and what, of course, all points catch our attention. And I was thinking, Srila Prabhupada talked about science a number of times, that this is a science. Like Krishna also says, this is a spiritual science in 4th chapter. So basically, Prabhupada wants us to understand the purpose of human form of life, which is self-realization. Thank you.
Yes, Mother. That was one of my points that really resonated with me. Was he was very emphatic on that word science, because sometimes people just follow a path like a facade of fashion, or what they're doing is really cool, and they just copy it without really understanding the science of it. But yes, it's really a science. It's not sentimentalism. That is really, really nice. Thank you, Mother. Vishaka has posted her realization, and she said, I like the analogy that Prabhupada gave about how one will doubt if someone were to offer to teach chemistry in a minute for money, yet many believe when people say they can show them God in a second without qualification. Yes. And Sri Prabhupada mentioned in his lecture, that God is not so cheap. He actually said that God is not so cheap. And sometimes we think that we can, people can just very easily and cheatingly, take to Krishna consciousness because it's a cool thing, it's a new thing, it's a different path, or it's, let's try this and see how long it goes, like and they just do it for sentiment rather than really getting to the science of it. Yes. Thank you, Vishaka. Any other thoughts? One that that resonated with me, like Mother Gita said, Prabhupada's lectures, every point is like, wow, like every single point he says really has a food for thought for us to really meditate on. But one point that really caught my attention was he said that we have to come to the stage of tranquility, which can be achieved by the devotional process. I thought that was really interesting for me because in that how much tranquility plays a role in our Krishna consciousness. Like I never thought about it, but now that Srila Prabhupada says that one have to come to the stage of tranquility, which can be achieved by the devotional process. So what I was getting from this is that the devotional process is a procedure, a guideline that will clean our hearts, clean our minds, clean our, whatever baggage we're carrying within us, just to get to the stage of tranquility. Yeah, that was something that was like, wow, I never heard about that. Never heard it that way. So that was something that I would like to definitely meditate on. Yes. Any other thoughts? Yes, Prikshit, my husband. Go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada was also stressing that we cannot, well, he just said we have to be free from the mode of passion and the mode of ignorance for this to make sense to us. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Mode of goodness is extremely important that we get to, in order for this to be even gladdened, jubilant in devotional, in the whole devotional process. So he stressed that the modes we have to be careful of, especially passion and ignorance. So one of those things. That's one of them that I picked up.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
That's all.
Oh, I thought I cut you off. I apologize. Yeah, it's and as you were speaking, I'm just wondering if I'm sorry, that was my laptop. I as you were speaking, I'm just wondering if that is what your prophet meant to come to the state of tranquility.
It's part of it, definitely.
Yeah, it's making me think a little bit more deeper now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yes, now it's making me think. Because like you said, and we have to get out of the mode of ignorance, like your prophet says, and the mode of passion and ignorance, which can be achieved by devotional process, and that is the way that will get us to the mode of goodness. And mode of goodness is a stage where we try to be calm. So I'm thinking that's what it might be when he says we have to come to the state of tranquility. Yeah.
He's talking about passion and ignorance being pretty much animal life. Human life is different. We have to be in a mode of goodness. And he was stressing that. Then we can become enlightened in the process.
Thank you. Thank you. That was a nice one. Yeah, got me thinking too with my point. Yes, dear Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All grace to Srila Prabhupada. Just one of many points. Srila Prabhupada, I think he's indicating that this Krishna consciousness, this process is not that easy. So that's why he kept on stressing on studying, practicing it as science. And also important point is that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning that Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, he is declaring, it's a declaration that out of many, only few will be interested in this science, and who will realize will be even less. So sometimes, we put a lot of effort, devotees put a lot of effort in propagating the movement, and when the desired results are not achieved, sometimes they get little demotivated. But we should also always remember that Krishna knows that. Still, he wants us to keep on putting our efforts and assist him in his mission. So that's just thought I should share that realization.
That was nice, Prabhu. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes, go ahead, Prakshit.
Just to add on to what Dear Krishna said.
Yes, please.
That the process is not easy, and that's why Lord Chaitanya and Shastika in Sri Prabhupada quoted, Itadishi Tava Kripavagalamalapi. Do Daivam. Unfortunate. I'm so unfortunate that the process has been made easy, but still we cannot take it. Unfortunate class of men cannot take it. A lot of people don't want to chant Hare Krishna. So even in our movement, it's a situation where people are ready to do kirtan and bhajan, but if you tell them to do the japa, silently, or japa without music, then some people have an issue with it, or they have difficulty with it. That all shows that it's not such an easy thing as we might think. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think early on in the lecture, Sri Prabhupada was mentioning how Krishna made himself so easily available through his holy name, and still there are, the unfortunate class of men, he says, who just can't take it. He made it so easily available. Yes, that's right. Thank you for sharing that. And anyone else has any thoughts to share, reflection, realization from this amazing class of Sri Prabhupada? Okay, if there isn't, we thank you all so much for joining us. We thank you all for joining us and listening to Sri Prabhupada's class. It's so nice to really share thoughts and hear each other's reflections, and and because we also learn from it. So that was very, very nice. And we look forward to seeing all of you in class tomorrow morning. Vanchakaptidyascha, Kripasindubevicha, Patitanam Pavinebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Have a wonderful day, devotees.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.